Today we are replacing two dimmer switches for some lights in the kitchen. Always handy to have an external source of light as well as a voltage tester for extra safety. First step is to cut off electricity to the area. So sometimes some paint might cause some adherence in the top, and if so, just use a flat blade to pry it off. The next step is to gently pull this out. Even though we have shut the circuit breaker off, it's always a good idea to do a secondary check with a voltage tester. Upon removal, you might see a vacant screw here, such as in the lower left, and that's because this was used as a two-way and not a three-way device. A three-way device would be if you had another switch on the opposite side of the room that this also had a function with. If you needed to make a connection to that, look for a red and white wire coming from your new dimmer switch. Keep in mind that for hooking up that third wire, always follow manufacturer's instructions since there might be slight variation in the exact color code. If you don't plan on using the wire for a three-way connection, be sure to insulate it on the end. So as we take a close look at the box, we see two black wires here coming out. Very important to identify your load. In other words, what's going to the light. We see the one on the left tracing up to that white wire nut and behind and above. That's going to follow up and over. Since every installation will differ, it's important to look for clues. We see both of these right black wires going to the same wire nut here as the power source. Another clue that the one on our left was to the load. Here we are modeling a more complex situation. Keep in mind, if you are replacing a switch with a dimmer, it's going to be much easier than replacing a pre-existing dimmer with a dimmer. So if you have an older home and there have been some construction changes or other electrical fixtures installed, keep in mind you might have another color wire running into the dimmer just because that's what was used in the installation. One pro tip before you begin unscrewing these wires is to label them since they're much easier to identify while connected. Here we have flagged the wires that go to the main power source for easier identification. Another clue that you've got the correct wire for power is if you see a black screw. As you're unscrewing, be sure to observe the orientation of the wire. Make sure that it's clockwise so that when you go to screw it back in clockwise, the wire does not come up from underneath the screw. Although the new dimmer switch might not have screws, this is still a good practice to keep in mind should you need to reinstall your original dimmers. Use a set of linesman pliers to straighten out your wires. You can also shorten some of the wires using wire cutters to get it to a similar length. This is what a solid connection will look like between the copper wire and the tin stranded wire. When you're screwing on the wire nut, don't be afraid to apply a lot of pressure at the end to ensure a tight, solid connection. So after connecting your wire pairs with wire nuts, be sure to tug on them to ensure there's no separation. Ensure they're also twisted at this insulated end, and most importantly, be sure that there's no bare copper wire showing. Keep in mind you might have to snap the tabs off of your dimmer to allow it to fit within the electrical box. When putting a copper wire back into the blue electrical box, it's very important it does not touch any bare metal such as screws. Keep in mind that some dimmer switches might have an additional control on the side. And that is to assist with the low threshold so that when you put this lever all the way down, the lights don't go completely off. Be sure that if you have red wires, that you ensure they are going to the light and not another load such as a fan. So the final step is just to test the dimmer and use that adjustable switch, if your dimmer has it, to find your lowest threshold setting.